Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Christy Keenan for SuperLobby. We are here for a brand new Fantasy Premier League season, first video podcast of the new season, and my regular partner in crime, David, CEO slash main brains behind the SuperLobby operation. How are you doing, David?
Awesome. Welcome you back.
Awesome, no less.
Awesome.
Man, that is some new season positivity going on. David's a Partick Thistle fan, so clearly the season's not old enough for that world-wearied cynicism to have kicked in. Unbeaten this season. 0-0 draw against
0-0 draw.
Hamilton.
Hamilton Academicals.
Big stuff that. Big stuff that.
Celtic on Sunday. It all might change.
Yeah. Oh, this Celtic team's overrated. You never know. You might have a chance against them. Anyway, we're not here to talk Scottish football. We are here to talk Fantasy Premier League. And first things first, we're not going to dress it up as anything other than a really underwhelming slate for the first weekend. Am I alone in thinking that?
You're not alone here, no. I know we're all super excited, and then you see the slate, the 5-game slate that we're looking at for the DraftKings 40k tournament, and it's pretty crud, isn't it?
It's not great. We're looking at Villa, Bournemouth, Palace, Norwich, Sunderland, Leicester, Watford, Everton. Okay, Swansea, Chelsea should make for a good game, but there's also Man U, Spurs in the early kickoff, but of course that's not included in the DraftKings slate because you Americans are still in bed.
Yeah, I mean that's the game of the day, isn't it? But
yeah, it's a big one.
You know, you're clutching at straws. I mean, Swansea, Chelsea. I mean, you'd maybe watch it on a Monday night after work.
The most memorable thing that has happened in a Swansea Chelsea game in recent years.
I can't remember. No, can't remember.
It's got to be Eden Hazard volleying the ball boy.
The ball boy.
Yeah, booted the ball boy. Made a celebrity out of him.
The 47-year-old ball boy.
Poor kid.
I'm going to say this. He deserved it.
No, he didn't. You can't go kicking a 12-year-old.
He deserved it.
All right, so we're 2.5 minutes into the first podcast of the season, and David, the CEO, has already advocated booting preteens. The only way is up from here.
That's a hard start. Okay, let's move on.
What I do want to say though about this slate is this is actually a pros slate. This is the sort of slate where the real good DFS players really start rubbing their hands with excitement, because this is where the biggest edges get sort of pronounced. Everyone can pick, okay, so we've got Arsenal versus Man City on Sunday. Everyone can pick half a dozen game changers from that game. So there's not much edge to be had. Like if your decision is between Mesut Ozil and David Silva, you know, it's like you might as well flip a coin. But when you've got some of the Diddy games, when you've got like a Sunderland versus Leicester, for example, big edges can be found by putting in your homework, putting in your research for those fixtures.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. But is there not I'm a bit concerned. This could be one of those slates where do people play soccer DFS because the games are on television and they enjoy watching them, or do they vice versa?
I've got your chicken and egg thing. Do the games get the people excited, or do people get excited because?
Yeah, like I hope, and I hope that I wouldn't be that surprised if not that many people played soccer DFS this weekend.
Yeah.
And I hope that DraftKings don't look at those numbers and go, well, that's, first week EPL soccer numbers aren't tremendous. Let's just sort of.
Yeah, you think they might be looking for.
Yeah.
They might be looking for a more headline grabbing sort of. Well, I mean, they're at the mercy of the fixtures, so.
I know. Let's hope they stick with it. I'm sure they will anyway. You've got a bit of celebrity though. You're now a playbook DraftKings.
Yeah.
Writer, which is pretty exciting. I
read
that article.
I'm the sort, when you have fascinating soccer insight, as I do.
As you do.
Then the offers just come flooding in.
Flooding.
I mean, flooding stretch it. Trickling?
Trickling.
Trickling in, yeah.
Trickling.
Trickling in. So I've just brought up the SuperLobby, and I'll put that up on the screen. Already we're looking at decent overlay. We're seeing. Are we? Let me see if we. No, Yahoo don't have their soccer product up yet, but DraftKings. Am I hearing crazy Twitter rumblings of FanDuel coming into soccer? I don't even know if you know any more than I do, but I've definitely seen that kicking around the Twitter sphere a little bit. That would be good news. But at the moment,
rumors.
Yeah. At the moment, it's DraftKings and DraftKings alone for the purpose of the SuperLobby. So if you are interested in soccer and you're interested in value, then a quick check of the SuperLobby. Tons of overlay, great value. DraftKings are obviously putting some big money up in guarantees, and it's going to be tough for them to fill. And if it's tough for them to fill, it means free money for you guys.
That's right. Terrific overlay kicking around. The one thing is, possibly because of the deal that Yahoo did with Mondigo, I wonder, it's not in there just now, but I wonder, are we going to see like soccer in the Yahoo lobby? Is that going to appear sometime today?
Today.
In which case it might, and then in which case the SuperLobby will pick that up, and then you'll be able to compare side by side the Yahoo soccer product via Mondigo and DraftKings. So I might just hope. Maybe I'll reach out to those crazy people at Yahoo and Mondigo and find out what's happening with that.
This is you reaching out right now.
Well, probably
is. They'll be watching it.
Hi, Chris. Can you tell me? Yeah, thanks for that.
So back to DraftKings, and let's talk through my selection. Ridicule away, David. I've gone for Costel Pantilimon in goal. Sunderland keeper, of course, they're playing at Leicester. What do you think of the big Romanian?
Yeah, no, I like him. I like him as a goalkeeper. I mean, you know how potent are Leicester going to be? The guy's name that I could never pronounce.
I'll tell you exactly how potent they're going to be. They're going to be
impotent.
They're going to be impotent.
But did they not finish last season on a sort of scoreathon?
They did, from out of nowhere.
What happened to the little fast guy up front? Is it Vardy?
Vardy, yeah.
Is he still there?
Still there, yeah.
Still there. And what happened to Uyoya, whatever his name is?
Uyoya. You know what? It's the soul patch. I'm just not having it. He's got a soul patch and curtains as a haircut. I want to talk. It's inexcusable.
We'd love to have a haircut, wouldn't we?
I know. God, that would be glorious. Those heady days of curtains.
Yeah, okay.
Dim and distant past, but so, no, I'm not having a show, I'm afraid.
Okay, so these guys have gone from scoring 3-4 a game at the end of last season to now they just can't score goals, and Sunderland have gone from being we only just escaped relegation to being we're going to like shut them out. Isn't
it funny how you framed that? Because Sunderland and Leicester both only just avoided relegation, but you've painted one as, you know, some kind of superhero and the other as some sort of ditties.
But I think we all know it's how you finish.
Yeah,
I think so. And you know, I always look for a fast finishing team is going to start well. I think you'll get quite a fast start from Leicester this season. I've not looked at their fixtures. I've no idea if they're going to play Chelsea, Man U, and Arsenal in the next 3 games.
They've really got a poor manager. They got a shot of Nigel Pearson finally, and they brought in Claudio Ranieri. And Claudio Ranieri is not the guy for this job, I don't think.
The Tinkerman.
Uber defensive.
Fall from grace, isn't he?
Yeah, he's not had a gig in English football for a decade or so since Chelsea got rid of him. About that, 2004, I think. Moreover, I just think that their squad's not particularly good. I think Nigel Pearson worked a miracle keeping them up last season. Don't think their squad's very good. Don't think their manager's very good. I think Sunderland are rotten, to be honest. I think Sunderland will be right down the bottom. Their manager's terrible too. Isn't it incredible how Dick Advocaat has been is a messianic, is that word? Messianic figure in Wearside, Town and Wearside.
Yeah, well, I think he's one of these guys who you bring in. He's like the cleaner in Pulp Fiction.
Yes, he's a firefighter.
You bring him in, but you don't really want him full time, do you?
No, he should have quit. His legacy would have been brilliant.
He could have been a legend in Sunderland.
Yeah.
Is that a place worth being a legend?
A legend is. Name me another legend in Sunderland.
Niall Quinn.
Brilliant. That was the one guy that I had on my
Was it
on my
right?
brain as well.
Let's move on. Okay,
Yeah,
so yeah,
yeah.
I've not got a problem with that. It could be a 0-0. Yep, let's go for him.
I've got three Sunderland players on my team actually, and I tip Sunderland to finish bottom, certainly bottom five. I think they'll really struggle against relegation. But such is the vagaries of DFS when
Yep.
there's value there, you have to pick them.
Sure, and he's 4,100 in DraftKings, right? So he's like sort of sixth most expensive goalkeeper that's available and uninjured and all that sort
Exactly.
of stuff. Okay, yeah. Okay, nice.
I'm Patrick Van Aanholt from Sunderland in defence as well. For a guy at 3,900, let's kid no one here. I signed Van Aanholt so I could also have Leighton Baines in my team. And I expect Baines to do most of the point scoring. But I like Van Aanholt. He gets up and down the flank. He's a good fullback. 6.4 FPPG last season, not massive, but not bad at that price point. So I see value there, particularly if it frees up some money for Leighton Baines, which it has done. Leighton Baines, of course, we might as well call him Leighton Baines, obviously, because obviously you pick Leighton Baines.
Obviously you're picking him.
Obviously you pick Leighton Baines if you can. The only problem with Leighton Baines is he's owned by so many players. Yeah,
he's owned by everyone. So you're playing a GPP here, right? I mean, you just don't want to do yourself out of it. If he scores a free kick, a penalty, and has 17 crosses, you don't want to be the guy that hasn't got them, right?
The thing with Leighton Baines is so I originally had Romelu Lukaku in my team, but I had to ditch him because he's an injury doubt. But Leighton Baines is at his best when Lukaku plays, because Baines, you accumulate points for for successful crosses and assists, obviously. Set pieces notwithstanding, which is another of Leighton Baines' fortes. But Leighton Baines loves to deliver a ball to Lukaku. Lukaku is such an effective target man that Baines, who's got this brilliant no run up standing cross from deep, picks out Lukaku. And without Lukaku, I just wonder if Baines might be a little bit ineffective, because Everton really don't have a backup for Lukaku. Aruna Kone will probably get the gig, but he's nowhere near as target man-ish.
Yeah. No, I know it's hard to argue. I'm just looking at the Everton sort of squad list and everything else. I mean, who's gonna, might even pop Stephen Naismith. Naismith's decent in the air. Actually, I like
Stevie Naismith.
Exactly. Oh, you're 1 to a million to say that. Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay, let's move on. These games are so uninspiring that no game merits more than a minute of chit chat.
All right, well,
right, you're stuck in Baines.
Chelsea.
Okay.
Yeah, stuck in Baines, obviously. Let's move on.
Okay.
Swansea Chelsea. One word.
Eden Hazard.
No, that's two.
Hazard.
Gylffi.
Okay, right.
My hero.
Yeah, you do like Gylffi.
If Gylffi signs for Aberdeen, then that would be it. I'd just retire and be a full-time Gylffi cheerleader. He's just the best player. I love him.
It's literally the last stop in the UK before you get to sort of home turf for him, so it's a possibility.
Yeah, can't rule it out. Yeah. He's so good, and at 7,400, still a bargain.
Yeah, but are they really going to get much of the ball? I mean, I was looking at the Chelsea lineup. It's the same team as last year, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
They're so strong in midfield.
Swansea always get the ball,
but they're not against Chelsea's midfield. Not a fresh Chelsea midfield. I know Chelsea have had a bad. I mean, I've loved the fact Chelsea have had a bad pre-season, and everyone's like, "Oh, Arsenal are going to win the league and everything else." No, they're not.
No, they're not.
They're not. Chelsea are going to win the league again.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen. Thanks very much. They're a slightly bigger price than they should be. Do you think Mourinho doesn't know he's got some striker issues? It's like, oh yeah, they've got some striker issues. Mourinho had no idea. Yeah, of course he doesn't.
Yeah, they've also got Falcao. Okay, he had a poor last season, but this guy is still a world-class talent.
He doesn't need to run about too much when Chelsea are playing, because Chelsea have got so much force that pressurises the ball into the box that all Falcao needs to do is be in the box. It's different with Man United. They were a ragamuffin mob.
He was definitely I think Falcao was definitely a victim of a squad that didn't really know what it was trying to achieve last
Yeah,
season at Man U. They
yeah.
didn't know how to get anything out of
There
him.
was so much I don't know, looseness on the pitch in terms of the formation. Everything wasn't tight. You look at Chelsea
Exactly.
formation, it's tight,
They
right?
weren't well drilled yet.
Yeah, totally. And if Falcao was running into acres of space at Old Trafford, massive pitches, that's not his game. He will tap in probably 10 to 15 goals this season for Chelsea and do his job.
Yeah,
Costa will probably score 20 from 20 games that he plays.
exactly.
And
The two of them together, like Atletico Madrid 2012 or whatever it was style, that is just absolutely
yeah,
formidable.
totally. And
Still, we've spent now 3 minutes talking about a player who we haven't actually picked.
at least our audience have heard of him.
That's true. I've got Gylffi, and I've gone for Eden Hazard and Cesc Fabregas in the same game.
Okay, right.
Just price. Why? I just like Hazard again, like Leighton Baines, is just guarantees points.
Okay. So the world's gone for those players, right? So
Yeah.
what you're actually looking to do is differentiate yourself in the 3 or 4 other players.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's take Hazard, Baines, Fabregas. Let's just draw lines through these guys.
Yeah.
They're in the team, and they're probably in almost everyone's team as well.
Yeah.
And Gylfi's in there, and he's probably going to be pretty highly owned as well.
Yeah.
So I like your goalkeeper. I like Van Aanholt, your fullback. You've got 2 other spaces you need to fill. So who's going to be a striker for you?
I've got Jermaine Defoe.
Okay.
Jermaine Defoe is one of these guys, almost like Darren Bent or someone that, like, a year from now we could be laughing, mocking me ruefully about how bad a pick this is, because like it's possible that he just completely fades into obscurity, that he's just past it, but it's also very possible like a fit Jermaine Defoe. Like his goal scoring record is unbelievable. He's got something like 140 goals in 400 Premier League games, and when you think about the amount that were off the bench and as like a young player, in his first season or whatever, just breaking through, like in his prime, I mean, this guy,
clinical, absolutely
he is
clinical.
Yeah.
I don't. Has he lost much of what he ever had?
The problem is like the game has changed. Like 4-4-2 doesn't really exist anymore. And he's very much, if you think about Jermaine Defoe, you immediately think about his partnership with Peter Crouch at Tottenham.
Yeah.
And Portsmouth before that.
Yeah.
And I don't think that we're going to get so Sunderland aren't going to play 4-4-2. He's not going to play up top with Stephen Fletcher, which would actually be a very good front two. It would play to both of their strengths. But they're going to play 4-3-3. Defoe might be shunted out to the wings. We just don't know, and that's where the gamble comes in. But at 6,600, a guy with a formidable scoring record, and let's be honest, they're playing Leicester. We don't anticipate Leicester to be too effective defensively this season. So I like my pick there, obviously, or else I wouldn't have picked him. And I've also gone for Patrick Bamford, Palace, who are playing Nord. Bamford is the massive gamble, and this is another spot. Bamford is a massive gamble, and this is another spot where I think that an edge might be found, because these guys who played in the Championship last season, Bamford, if you remember, had a very good season at Middlesbrough, on loan from Chelsea. These guys who are in the Championship, nobody's selecting them, therefore their price point is really low. Like
4,000, yeah, totally, yeah.
So if you can find some edge there, if a guy like Bamford really turns it on, suddenly he could be like a Harry Kane type figure. Maybe that's a bit of hyperbole, but like someone who people are very slow on the uptake in picking him because they think he's just like a poor player hitting a purple patch. But the reality is, no, this guy's just really effective attacker.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. Players that you've not picked, we're looking for springers, right?
Yeah.
Teams that you've not even, not even looked at the Aston Villa Bournemouth game, and Bournemouth were like the most expansive team last year in the Championship.
Absolutely.
Scored a bucket load of goals, won the league.
Did they win the league? They won the league by a point, yeah.
Yep.
You know why I've ignored that game though?
Why?
They've had such turnover. I truly, like, Bournemouth signed like 3 players yesterday. Like, I truly don't know how they're going to line up. And I could see myself blowing half my budget on guys who are going to start on the bench or whatever, and it's not worth the risk.
Yeah, I suppose I'm just thinking of one guy in particular at 4,900 a midfielder, Matt Ritchie.
He is very effective. So bad for Scotland.
Terrible for Scotland, but
so bad.
I know. I just think I think that Scotland then Strachan, the manager, kind of killed him a little bit with how he played him. But he gets a lot of the ball for Bournemouth. He's a winger.
Yeah.
He's very fast, very quick, and he delivers well. I just think he's the sort of guy. 4,900 for a midfielder. You could get a lot of production out of that guy. I'm not going to put someone off there.
But are they going to win the midfield battle against Villa? It's another of these, just how big is the gap between the bottom of the Premiership and the top of the Championship? It's such a perfect fixture to find that out.
Yeah, I don't know. Who are they going to go up against in the Aston Villa midfield? Nzogbia, Joko,
a Fabian Delph shaped hole, a Tom Cleverley shaped hole.
Yeah, I'm not looking at any of the midfielders there. I'm thinking Westwood, Sinclair.
There's no one standing out.
I don't know. I literally don't know.
That's why I left that game well alone.
Okay. Okay, but someone will know, and it may be worth doing a little bit more research.
And this is exactly why, as I said, we should be excited about the slate in a weird sort of way, because there's a lot of edge to be found.
Do you know what's in this slate this week?
What's that?
If you sit and watch all these games,
you
will find this year's Kieran Trippier, and you'll find him 4, 5, 6 games before anyone else does, and you'll get that production.
Brilliant, bang on. You're absolutely right. Probably going to play for Bournemouth.
Probably.
They're going to play attacking football. Very, very width-based.
Very much.
Should be exciting. Okay, we're going long. We're at 22 minutes, and frankly, no one needs to hear two Scottish guys blab about English football for 22 minutes. So let's wrap it up. But before we do so, check out SuperLobby.com. I also shot a really fascinating 2-part interview with DFS pro Benny Ricciardi. Benny is a key contributor at Road to Curve and at DraftKings Playbook. Really smart, just a really great guy.
He's a great guy, Benny. Yeah, I met him over in New York.
All right, rub it in.
Really enjoyed his company. That's a great interview, it really is.
Yeah, so check that out. It's on our YouTube channel, which you can easily find either through our website, SuperLobby.com. It's also on the website. But make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's what I'm trying to say if I wasn't so hungover and mealy-mouthed right now. Also, subscribe on iTunes, very easily found. Again, just get onto iTunes, search Super Lobby. You'll find it also by searching Daily Fantasy Lobby. Just get on it. Spread the word around Twitter, Facebook, social media and things. These video podcasts are a whole lot of fun to shoot, but obviously they're all the more effective and entertaining if you guys are getting involved and spreading the word and engaging with them. So drop us any questions, anyone that you want to see interviewed. We will do our best to hunt them down, track down the bear and throw a net over and drag them out and put them in front of a camera.
Perfect.
David, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Tune in next week. Enjoy the first weekend of Premier League action. Bye, everybody.